So welcome to Strictly Biz News. My name is Elizabeth Terrace. I'm a staff writer at Business West magazine. These are two of my little stories down here, my little teasers. So welcome to the show.
And welcome to Strictly Business. I am Alfonso Santaniello. Cori.
Here I
I still can't think of an intro for you. I don't know. Elizabeth, thank you so
How long
much.
have you been doing this? You don't have an intro?
Well, every week it's like, hey, it's Cori. Or, it's like, da-da-da.
She showed up this week.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always something. I don't have like a nice formal. It's been 10 episodes, and it's still.
I'm not very formal, so
Maybe you have
fine.
to do a contest or some prep time for her.
That's what we try to do contests. No one watches. So.
Or no one cares.
No one cares. Or they just want me to introduce her a different way every
Yeah.
episode. I don't know. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on. So we have some good topics to go over. I think I saved the best for last, but let's go to the first one. Banks are killing off branches. Basically, mobile marketing is huge, and it's only going to get bigger. I mean, I remember when they first tried to offer the texting and the apps, no one wanted, even online, no one wanted to do banking.
Right.
But that's not the case anymore. Overall, banks closed 2,267 branches this past year and only opened 1,100. So more have been closed instead of open. So people are losing jobs. They're not going to be. I mean, they're creating more jobs because they need more people to manage the online stuff. But the people out of, you see a lot of the younger demographic always. I don't go to the bank that much in the sense I just mostly everything is automatic through the account, or I go online, transfer it over, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. We actually just mentioned this last week. We were talking about something with ATMs.
Fees or how they're disappearing? Or?
But anyways, what I had made the statement that eventually.
Yeah.
And we had someone on the show that works for a credit union, and I kind of said, credit unions aren't going away, but but no, it's true, and we do have those laggers who don't want to do online banking or anything like that. And I went to the bank today just to cash a check, but that's something that I could have done, through the ATM, and I didn't have to go to a teller.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's the end of an era. I mean. That's my opinion.
Yep, I agree. And I used to do some marketing for a bank, with a small bank. And I did learn that a lot of the average price of, let's say, just talking about having an ATM is about $3 million per year.
Wow.
A typical ATM, because you have insurance, you have maintenance. There's incredible maintenance where they're always breaking down. And filling them, the real estate for them is incredible. So when you think about the cost of that and then consider the price of having a branch and everyone there in it and all of the property taxes and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't pay. However, if you notice in that thing, it's talking about how they'll go and shut down 270 across the nation but open up 40 in one town like Chicago.
Yeah.
They're going and putting their money, their return on investment where it should be.
Right.
In the cities.
In the cities.
Even though it might be higher to rent from those spaces, higher overhead costs, but the return on investment is higher, probably.
Right, and I do think it's going to force some people to get furious, if they aren't already furious with their bank, and switch to another bank, maybe a community bank that does have a few more branches around. Because the bigger ones are the ones who are going to fall fast. They're going to trim everywhere. They got to keep on paying their investors. They got to keep the profits up.
You already see Bank of America already starting to dwindle little by little. I mean, there was one in Agawam that went away 2 years ago. I mean, it's just starting. You can see it now. And Bank of America has their own app. They have where you can scan in through the app the check, so you can deposit. You don't even have to go to the bank to deposit anymore. So I mean, the way things are being done now, that the branches are going to be disappearing left and right.
The people I feel a bit worse for, though, are like my parents are in their 80s. There are some who, if they don't have younger kids to tell them how to move to another bank or how to do online banking. Online banking for you and I, it's easy.
Right.
It's a pain in the butt to have to go and put all the numbers if you go and switch banking or you add a new, well, let's say if you switch banking, you're going to do all your online all over again. And that's really painful because you know when you did it first, it was one by one by one by one. Teaching someone who's in their 60s, 70s, 80s to do that is kind of tough. And they're the ones who are going to be paying the convenience price because they don't know where to go and they don't know the best way to switch.
They're stuck.
They are.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It did say in another article that was linked to this article how ATMs are going to smaller bills now.
Yes.
Dollars and $5 bills,
Mhm.
which I thought was interesting because they said that people with lower balances want to take out less money than 20s, and I think usually the denomination is 20, 40, 68.
Or
80 or
Yeah.
then you add in however. I
So I
think it's
thought
up
that
to
was
Or
interesting.
you
400 or
overdraw.
500.
Which I've done before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're going, I can only do 20? I only want 13. I only want 17 right now.
So there's a niche for that, and they're tapping into that, and I thought that was really interesting. But it just goes right along with this article is that people are going to ATMs because if you go to a teller, you could ask for that specific amount.
Yeah.
But they're going to ATMs.
I also see this though as one of those, when the light bulb is ready to burn out, it burns brighter.
Mhm.
It's almost like this, it's this little, maybe not last ditch, but it's this little effort for banks to make themselves look different than other banks. But if you pay, like even Barrows had a recent October, a couple different banking type newsletters had stuff in the fall talking about really how cash really is going out. The people who are going to suffer again are the poor people or the older folks who aren't used to using ATMs, debit cards, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. And they're the last ones that use cash. And to go and have them, I mean, that's meant really for the lower, income people.
Yeah.
Because I rarely use cash. I never have it on. My husband
Yeah.
pays me all the time. I'm like, for what? I can go to McDonald's and get $1.07 with my debit card.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's true. Speaking of McDonald's, no, I'm just kidding. The article's about Max. We're not
I know.
Big Macs.
Yeah.
Da-da. So basically, there was an article stating that Apple is ending their Macs computers. So they're saying that since Steve Jobs is Steve Jobs, he didn't say that he was eliminating the computers, that he just introduced the iPad. So that was supposedly the computer killer, and it has been. Last quarter, Apple sold 4.2 million Macs, and they missed their estimates by nearly 1 million units. And it just happened today. When this goes live, I don't know when it's going to be, but
Late breaking news.
late breaking news. In this month in February, they're releasing the largest iPad ever. It's going to be like 3 times the size of memory. It's 128 gigabytes, and I think the highest one right now is only 64. So it's like really is going to replace a computer, and especially with the pull down, you can bring the keyboard, whatever. It has enough memory as a regular PC now. So I definitely see PCs going away.
Well, they even said that in the article. The PC market is weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, aside from people like you do graphics here, I do some graphics still. Unless you're going to do spreadsheets and graphics, I don't understand why anyone would even need a Mac or a PC anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go and attach your keyboard to the thing there. I don't
Exactly.
need anymore.
Right.
And it's funny how this article's talking about. One of the quotes in here is, well, if it's going to go down, Apple's going to be one to kill it because they corner the market. They've got the iPad, the this, the that. They know where they're going with it. My only concern would be, and fear, is that no one's indispensable. But in some cases, I mean, they brought Steve Jobs back, the second time. He's gone now for good. Are they going to be able to keep up? Because pretty much everything that's been Apple has been him.
Yeah.
So are they going to be able to keep it up? Not that they can't, this is getting not so much off the track of the whole PC Mac type of thing, but, will Apple be able to keep things up?
Yeah. And that's, how far, we've talked about how they wanted an iWatch or, that might replace the phone. We've talked about the TVs they want to, there's all these things that we've talked about in the course of all the shows, that all the maybes and the patents and all the stuff that they have, but, how they keep making iPads bigger, great. It's an iPad. Over the course of time, it's going to be generic. It's going to be. It's not going to be anything
Well, there's
special.
so many tablets out there now.
Exactly. So what's the next thing that's going to make them
I think
changer.
that we're going to start to see Apple just continue to compete or reinvent themselves with new technology, and then like HP and Dell are going to thrive on older technology such as PCs, just your run-of-the-mill laptops, and not so much the tablets and iPhone, ear watch,
Ear
eye
watch.
strollers,
An eye in front of it.
Yeah, so.
But the thing too that's interesting with this is that if Apple can be smart and get into other things, it's going to be getting into the cloud and where cloud
Yeah.
computing is, because that's where all the money's going to be in getting a chunk of that and investing in that. That's what I would be doing.
I really see Apple being more product as to Google having like the Google Docs and having all those functions with the business side of Google. I don't see Apple doesn't have that market yet.
Right.
So it's interesting to see if they do or they already have something planned. Next up, this is actually a really cool. There's a microbrewery incubator, and it has just been launched. Microbreweries and brew pubs have exploded in popularity over the past decade, but they've started, but a lot of people don't know all the costs that go into it, the regulation, the overhead, the risk, the insurance. So this woman, who also owns a company called The Kitchen Inc., started Brewery Inc., which is a brewery incubator in downtown Houston. They aim to grease the wheels of aspiring brewers by offering community and shared workspace with professional brewing equipment and a tap room with a built-in customer base so brewers can focus on what matters when they're just starting off, making the best beer possible. We need this in Springfield.
What took her so long? And why is she not here?
Why no one's done this
No one's
before.
catching on to this.
This is a great idea. You look at East Hampton, Holyoke. I mean, there's all these empty, vacant buildings. I mean, obviously you need people and you need funding, you need this, but
Right.
there is a lot of potential, I think, for Western Mass to have it.
It's STCC suds. Like the beer suds?
Yeah.
I like the stick incubator. They hate when we say stick, so it's STCC or Springfield Technical Community College. But I mean, it's the incubator idea. And I mean, how many people have come out of there
Yeah.
very successful and been, or, they've left because they've grown. It's time to go
Yeah.
on and get out of
Sud
here.
coop.
I mean, it's a great idea, and the amount of microbrewers that we have, especially up in the Northampton area and up in the Hilltown area and Holyoke and everything. I mean, that's a great idea. And that's capitalism. Is imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Someone should be doing this.
Yeah.
Who wants to do it?
And please invite us.
Yes. We will be the tasters. We will be the guinea pigs.
Now I was interested in this kitchen portion of it too. Does she have other people coming in and doing like rental or membership costs for food ideas too? Because I thought that was a good idea. I mean, so many people want to just quit their job to start a restaurant, but at the end of the day, they have no idea.
what that means.
Yeah, and I didn't know if she had that worked into it as well, or if these breweries were interested in just, because they said the brew pub.
Yeah, I think she has kind of like the whole ball of wax going on there, because she basically said in there, once they get done, they've got the marketing plan, they're ready to go.
Yeah, everything is licensed under Brewery Inc.
Yeah.
And she's handling the liability of it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So until they're ready to actually go out, get their own brewer, get funding to do whatever they want to do, everything's licensed through Brewery Inc.
Yeah.
But it's really it's a really good idea. It could even be a restaurant type of thing on a small scale, because you're right. Everybody wants to be norm. They want to go in a restaurant. They want to sit in the corner bar stool, and they don't understand what's about that. I mean, restaurants are the #1 businesses that just don't last.
Yeah.
They're in and out, and even in successful locations and they just don't know what they're doing because they don't plan ahead.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect opportunity. For
I would
something
love
like
to
that.
go in there and make my own food and drink a beer that someone made for me.
Yeah.
We need one of those. So next up is a list of most misleading claims. So I'll go through the list real quick, and then we can each talk about which ones we enjoyed off of this list. So number 1 was Palm Wonderful, which they make the pomegranate juice. 3-Hour Energy, Skechers Shape-Ups, California Shelled Walnuts, Surrey from Apple, Splenda, Nutella.
I knew you were going to have a problem with that one.
I have a huge problem. I don't disagree with it, but when we get into it. Hyundai and Kia, and Strawberry Natural Flavored Fruit Roll-Up. Naturally flavored. So these are all misleading and they didn't do what they were supposed to be doing. So who wants to start with which one they liked?
I was cracking up because right off the bat they have the Splenda packet, and I've never, I do use Splenda and Equal, and it says made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar.
Yeah, so it
It's
was
right on the package of every Splenda little
yeah.
packet of sugar. We were talking before the show started about how dumb as consumers we are, and we buy into this stuff, but I can admit there are some things that I buy that I might think are organic or natural, and the labels might be wrong, but fruit roll-ups, people, do we really think they're made from natural strawberries? Because the seeds are present in that rolled out flat gummy.
It's not
malleable
seeds,
thing.
it's sugar drugs.
Yeah, what are those seeds anyway?
I don't know.
They're natural strawberries. They are.
Yeah.
Melted in sugar.
I think they're crushed up
Yes.
pine needles or something like that.
So the whole Nutella thing is, I'm a huge Nutella fan. I will eat a jar full at a time.
I've never had it.
Really?
Have you ever
Oh,
had it?
so
Yeah, I
good.
have. I'm not a big, I don't know.
I love it. I know it's not the healthiest thing in the world because it's chocolate and cocoa and hazelnut and
Yeah.
it's just not. And the
Probably
things
corn
that they,
syrup and
yeah, the
these
things that-
terrible triglycerides.
So
and-
in the U.S. This wasn't in Italy. In the U.S. they put an ad out saying it's a healthier breakfast choice.
Yes.
They never did ads like that in Italy. They only did it in the U.S. And so this woman sued and settled for $3.05 million. In a woman in California alleging that the misleading health claims by suggesting product was a healthy breakfast option despite the high saturated fat content. So Ferrero, which owns Nutella, ended up just settling in court instead of going through the whole thing, which, it kind of, for me, you see the difference in the way they advertise the product in Italy and in America. Nutella, in Italy, it's good, tastes good, and like the commercials, it's kind of like one of those. In Europe, all the commercials like that, and they're bathing suits and they're like eating Nutella and like whatever.
Like an Herbalife commercial.
Yeah, it's like Nutella. But in America, they try to pitch it as a health. It's not. It's not the most unhealthiest thing, but it's
Right.
not an apple. It's not fruit. It's not gonna be a good substitute.
Yeah, they're campaigning it as, the mom is serving her 2 kids breakfast. And it seems like in Italy it's just like a glamorous Snickers bar.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
If
Yeah.
you're hungry,
I saw that one at the same time I've seen it, the one we were talking about earlier
The
with
Nutella
a
Adolescence?
relative of mine. Well, no, she's happily spreading the Nutella, as in they were pitching it that she's such a busy woman that she doesn't have time to feed her children or anything else, so let's spread some chocolate fat all over the toast here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? The healthy? They're saying that's healthy because
Yeah.
there's nothing healthy in
Well,
there at all.
Jif came out with their own hazelnut to try to
Right.
mock
Yes, they
Nutella, and I didn't have it, and I'm pretty sure it's not any healthier than
But people don't read.
yeah.
They live in a soundbite world. We know that. They do not read the ingredients. They don't care half the time. We were talking about a relative of mine who had to run to get yogurt, special yogurt, which was promoted by a very famous movie star who, you think, oh, if it's Jamie Lee Curtis is promoting it, must be healthy.
Right.
No, 6 months later they slapped him with a huge fine saying you can't go and say that you're not going to get colorectal cancer or something like that, or whatever they said, because you eat this yogurt. Yogurt is yogurt. It's the same thing as saying, oh, eat Jell-O, it's fat-free. There never was fat in Jell-O.
Jell-O, right?
It's just
But it's
sugar.
Yeah.
And bovine parts, I guess, to make it jelly.
There's
Gelatin.
there's-
Make it jiggle.
Ugh.
the roll up was a Hyundai.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Skechers shape-ups.
I
Yeah.
knew when I saw
Oh my
that.
gosh.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Really?
Yeah,
A little curve is gonna make your behind perfect
Yeah.
on the shoe?
That,
But they sold
You
them in
need-
droves.
they
Oh,
sold
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. They were basically saying if you wore these sneakers, it would slim down and tone your figure. But
And then they had Kim Kardashian of all people.
yeah, well, she did a different
Wow.
brand, didn't she?
No, Skechers.
Yeah, I think she was.
I think she did Skechers.
Yeah.
But as consumers, you would think that by now we would start to realize.
No, we
Commercials
don't.
nowadays.
No, we don't.
But commercials nowadays are just so silly. Like, and don't judge me, but the Coors Light commercials are so ridiculous. It doesn't make me want to go drink one. And it
You
doesn't,
drink them anyway.
It doesn't. But I think that like smart companies realize that commercials don't like add that much value.
I think
Depending on the product.
it's the messaging in the sense of, you know, it's the humor, but it's all the things
Right.
that add into
I
whatever
think it's
that
depending on
product.
your company.
Yeah.
But they're not, you know, claiming that Coors Light is healthier for you than a Bud Light. So let me climb the mountain top of the Colorado Rockies.
And get the coldest beer.
Yeah, and
Or
then
even Michelob Ultra was the one that was talking about, you know, after every workout, have this beer.
Yeah.
You won't gain it. You'll be refreshed and all that kind of stuff.
it's
It's
low
like,
carb.
oh yeah, it's hard. It's still beer.
Yeah.
Still beer.
Oh
The
yeah.
funniest one on there I found though was hysterical was Surrey.
Yeah.
Okay, so there really talk about having no water within this bowl at all. They're basically suing because Surrey didn't tell them things they wanted her to tell them. Well, Surrey is a computer.
Yeah.
And you know the questions that Surrey's gotten. They're
Yeah.
horribly rude. So I'm wondering, what was the basis of all of that? Because they only tell you in a little paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what was the claim?
Yeah.
What was it that Surrey wasn't telling them?
Yeah, I mean, I tried using her, and she's a pain in the ass to work with, so I just gave up on that. she wasn't, I mean, think of, for me, I don't have an accent, but I, you know, sometimes I talk faster or whatever. Think of the people that have an accent, and she can't understand people that speak English. Imagine
Right.
people that have thick
Well, just
accents
like when
or...
you calibrate a touch screen. I mean, she can't. They wanted something highly individualized. She's not going to give that to you. She's not your personal assistant.
No, yeah.
She's not even a she.
Yeah, it's a machine. No. It's funny how people automatically...
She's a little computer chip.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that will sue over anything. All right, Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on.
Sure, I'm happy to do it. It's a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
And hopefully you did too.
Me, still not so much.
And maybe next time you'll get an intro.
Maybe.
We'll be right back.
Good night.
Okay, well, show's over. Bye.
That wasn't a very good closing.
No.
So that's the show. We're on our way out, but just to remind you, you can check us out on Facebook.
At Strictly Businews.
Thank you. Twitter
Get Businews.
and Instagram.
Businews.
I probably could get that one.
And strictlybusiness.com, and continue watching the show. Let us know if there's things that you want us to talk about, and other than that, I mean,
Stay warm.
yeah.
Oh, and Al, are you going to be running the St. Patrick's Day race like you
No,
did last year?
I'll be drinking and eating Capri pizza.
Oh, all right.
Stop by the Capri pizza tent, just saying.
Yes, just saying.